Greetings, fellow stargazers. It's been a while.
And it's the middle of the day.
It's the middle of the day. We actually do film this at night in the basement, kind of like Wayne's World.
Yeah. Now we've decided, like old people, we're going to have dinner at 4 today.
At 4.
And fall asleep while the sun is high and bright.
I would sleep. I've been sleeping a lot the past 4 or 5 days.
That's what we're here to talk about.
Yes.
Is it's not you, it's us.
It's me, actually.
It's mainly him, but
it's very much me.
We are combined, at least in our blame,
a team.
to where we've been.
So you saw one of our recent episodes was about my bowels.
To the TMI episode.
The TMI episode was about how, I had the backwards intestines, and that if I ever get that pain again, I need to go to the hospital. Well, guess what happened?
This is not a bit.
This is not a bit.
It was a bit. That was totally real, but we were kind of...
I still have the proof, and we'll get to what this is in a minute. But the middle of the night on March 9th, I wake up with that severe stomach pain. It's been 14 years since I've had it. 15, actually, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I was a freshman in high school the last time I had it. And, I wake my wife up. Actually, at first, we live with my parents saving money for our house. And at first, I wake up my mom in the other room, like, hey, I'm having the pain. Do you think it could be that pain from when I was a kid? She's like, I don't know, go take some Pepto-Bismol, see what happens. Because my mom's a nurse, and she's a nurse, like, worst case scenario, when you're almost dead, that's when you take you to the hospital.
Right.
So, like, okay, because we also had, like, dinner with my cousin and his wife. We had, the Asian version of Chipotle here in Toledo, Balance. And the broccoli and the General Tso's chicken just wrecked me that night, and I was just, like, passing smelly gas and starting to get gas pains. So, at first, my wife's like, well, maybe... When I finally woke up, my wife, she's like, maybe it's their gallbladder. And I'm like, where's the pain? It's everywhere. But she goes, the pain for gallbladder is like up here. And then suddenly I'm feeling the pain up here. I'm like, yeah, it's the gallbladder. But in the back of my mind thinking, my intestines are blocked. I'm getting surgery. And this gets to the point, like, I got to go to the hospital. I can't wait for a doctor's office. And so when I get to the ER, they do an x-ray and then a CAT scan and say, you have a partial small bowel obstruction. So right where my largest small intestine meet, wasn't fully blocked, it was just kind of blocked. But it was enough to be like, you need to talk to a surgeon. Yeah. So they admit me, they talk to a surgeon, and they bring him in later that day when I'm actually like, I went in the ER at 2:30, and now at like 10 or a.m. or 12, even a little bit later in the day, I meet my surgeon. He goes, well, this is what's happening. You have a large floppy colon. Now, what that means is I had...
Floppy disk? Is that a format?
Well, no. I had too much large intestines. You have like 4 feet, maybe 5. Okay. And your intestines, I'll put a picture right here. It kind of starts in your belly right here. It just kind of goes around. You've seen the diagrams and whatnot.
Oh, yes.
Mine started in my pelvis, went up, back down, back up, over, and then around. And so... I had 6 feet of large intestine. Yeah.
So God played Roller Coaster Tycoon with you just a little too fun?
You could. And somehow it was still regular. I don't know how. Like every day at 9 a.m. after my coffee, 3 hours after having morning coffee, I would poop. And so I was regular with 6 feet plus of bowel. So he's like, we're going to need to remove some of that. And also where your large and small intestine meet, we found out aren't flopping around, but we're just twisting. Mine had twisted over twice, and so it was on the wrong end. Twice over. So instead of connecting on this side, it connected on this side, but it had like rotated once and then rotated again.
So like over the past decade, 12, 13 years, just been doing this?
It's probably doing that slowly, all my life, slowly. And actually on the CT scan, there's a blood vessel coming off of it, and it looked like a Twizzler in the CT scan. Like, this is not good. So we're going to also have to detach that, because you can't just untwist it. Yeah. So we're just going to unattach it and go to the correct side.
Actually, the first thing the doctor said was, did you have balance by chance? Because we've seen this before.
We've seen this before. This does not have anything to do with balance. Yeah. It's my own freak of nature self.
Right.
So they do the surgery the next day. And before they do the surgery, my doctor says, no, there is just normal complications. You have a 1% chance that you could have a bowel leak. We could do everything right, connect everything correctly, but just 1% chance that no matter what we do, if it's absolutely correct, something just doesn't take, and whatever is in there can just leak out.
Right, and you said, never tell me the odds, especially of that.
And well, actually, my question if that was, what are the chances I'll have a colostomy bag? It's like, you're not going to have a colostomy bag. Like, thank God, thank you.
Right.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
And so they do the surgery. And when they take parts of your bowel, it took 12 inches of my large intestine and 4 inches of my small. And keep in mind, when I took that 12 inches of my large intestine, I still had probably a little bit more large intestine than the average bear. Yeah.
Did you get to keep it?
I wanted to. That's the first question I asked him. Can I have it in a jar? And he just goes, no. Real question I asked him. And he just went,
what's wrong with you?
He did give me that look. I almost pressed it again at the surgery table, but I'm like, let's not. He's the one with the knife. And so, I wake up. I'm in pain because I do have a 4-inch incision in my abdomen. They had to open me up. They were gonna try and do it laparoscopically through my belly button, just like take my large intestine out through my belly button, cut it, attach it, put it all back in. But it was just too messed up. It was just too screwed up. It's like, nope, we got to open them up. So they do that. And, when your intestines are opened up, they don't really like to work right away after that. So then I have to get an NG tube, which is the tube that goes up your nose, down your throat, into your stomach to pump fluid out of the stomach so that way it doesn't back up and, you start throwing it up and being awful.
Is there a feeling, that you can identify that, too?
Yeah, it wasn't in tight, and I could feel it tickle the back of my throat sometimes and hit the gag reflex, which was not fun.
You almost made me gag just now.
Oh. And they put the wrong one in me at first. They put in the juvenile one, and so when my surgeon saw me, like, why'd they put the pediatric NG tube in? I'm like, this is the pediatric one? It's like, yeah, if we need to put another one in, which they did, it's going to be the adult one, and that one sucked.
They come in with one of those, icy straws that you get at the theater? The really thick...
Yeah, that's what it's like, and just, and that one I did throw up from. They're putting it in. Not fun. But anyway... So everything is going fine until a week after the surgery, my vitals tank. I had a bowel leak. And so...
That 1%.
The 1%. So they had to rush me at 7 o'clock at night, the Wednesday after my first surgery, and redo it. They took another 6 inches off. And another 4 inches off my small, 6 inches off my large intestine. So now my large intestine actually starts up here, and just is like a question mark down to my rectum.
But is it normal size?
It's a little bit shorter than everyone else's now. A little bit shorter. And for weeks, I've been just having mushy stool when I finally started up again. And then they also had to massage my...
There's the title for the episode.
The mushy poop. Looks like applesauce. That's a gross title.
That's not title of that.
No, let's not. But all in all, I ended up being in the hospital for 17 days. From March 9th, and I think I got out March. Whatever Good Friday was, March 28th.
Okay.
But then, first 2 weeks, this is week 3 of being home.
Yeah.
This is the first week I feel normal. Because also, because of the bowel leak, they couldn't close me up all the way.
Yeah.
So I had an open wound in the ICU. It still is slightly open. And I have, this is a wound vac, and so I have foam here.
Yeah. That's
just sucking in juices and closing the wound slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And there's, wonderful stuff in there.
Have you seen Dog Soldiers?
Dogs?
Something about it's a werewolf movie. It's foreign. H.R. Giger, the dude that did Aliens.
I've never heard of this.
So long story short, a dude gets scratched at one point, and he's just holding his entrails, just kind of looking at him. There's nothing he can do about it, but they're just kind of there. Is that kind of the experience you had? It felt like that? That things were just gonna...
It did feel like that, because the only thing they closed at first was just the muscle.
Okay.
They couldn't close... Wow. They closed the abdominal wall, the muscle.
Okay.
They sewed that shut.
Right, and the rest was just
The rest was just open. So the wound, when I first woke up from surgery number 2, was this wide. And this tall, and not that tall, it's this tall, this wide, and about 3 to 4 inches deep.
Yeah. Were they just getting you ready for the Krang transplant?
Yes, that's when they're going to put the Krang
in the little brain in there.
Yeah, but it actually it's now only this wide and that deep, and it looks more like a flesh wound and not like I'm going to die from my battle wounds on the battlefield from a Game of Thrones thing. But dude, it's been quite an ordeal. And
that's insane.
It has been crazy. All of it.
And it's so weird that we just talked about this.
And that this was a possibility, and then it happened.
Yeah, it's almost like we reminded your body, and you're like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it's there, so go have some balance. It'll be your last meal.
It'll be your last. And it was my last meal. I didn't eat. I've lost 25 to 30 pounds from this because I didn't eat for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was allowed, when I was sent home, I was allowed to eat.
What happened to your appetite?
It was not there for 2.5 weeks. I finally this past week got my appetite, some of it back, but also.
Shut up!
I'm still scared to eat broccoli, dude.
Sorry about it.
So,
I think you know what? Yeah. You and my son scared to eat broccoli
for very different
in common.
Reasons.
Yes, I would hope so.
For very different reasons.
Yeah, but So now we're back.
We're back. Next week we have an episode that we had in the can. It's just I've been too sick to edit put together, which is not, I don't think this one has much to put together, but just to concentrate on.
And I was I wanted to make sure you were good before.
And then I kind of got to the point where we need to do another update video before we put anything else to let you know what just happened.
Yeah, otherwise we'll just feel like,
it's like, hey,
hey guys,
why'd you? And then so you're gonna see me now, and then next week I'm just gonna look much bigger. At the back.
Actually, and mine is for a totally different reason, and mine is that I just don't drink pop anymore.
That's a good idea.
I'm down about 20 pounds.
Excellent.
So I think from the time we last filmed, we both if
lost.
you took a tire, like a bike tire pump, just almost like Dig Dug, we both were Dig Dug on the last one, and now we're in a place of, I don't know, normalcy.
There we go. We're getting there. I'm almost there.
Yeah,
this is a shirt I couldn't fit in, and now I fit in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's got to be fun.
My Pac-Man shirt.
Yeah. I'll be going to the Penny Arcade Expo.
PAX?
Yeah.
I will not.
No, well, at this point, I don't know if you'd want to.
I don't want to travel long distances quite yet, especially with the wound still open.
Yeah, so we'll have some fun with that.
I gotta let the dog in a minute.
Yeah, well, sometimes I stand at the back door and just yell at my wife.
And scratch at the door.
Yeah, even though it's unlocked. The other day, I came home and I locked myself out. I was sick last week. And obviously, nothing compared to what you've been through. But
it still stinks.
I went through my own personal crap for a couple days. And the first day I'm super sick, and I leave. I had to go grab something from work and come back, and I locked myself out of the house. Ugh. And I was just so sad because I had a fever, and I'm outside just in a hoodie, just I want to go inside.
And was that about the time we got the 8 inches of snow randomly?
It started doing the rain before the snow. It was really cold, and so I'm going through to each door in the house, and they're all locked, and I'm trying windows, and I got one to budge, and I'm like, so I got really excited, and I open the window, and it's high, and the only thing on the other side is the kitchen sink, and I'm like, 50-50 chance I hurt something.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
So I started doing it. The dogs are losing their minds, and I hurt my nuts so bad. I was about halfway in, and I felt it, and was like, ah! Fell the rest of the way in. At first, I was recording on my phone, I had set it in, and I was like, this is embarrassing, and I'm talking to it. And I knock it over on the way in, and so I didn't get good footage of me hurting myself.
But you got good footage of the entrance.
Of the entrance, at least. You just see my head pop up, and I'm like, anyways, so that was
So we'll have some new stuff coming up here. We got an old video I've canned. We'll start planning some new content again, and then we'll have a PAX episode featuring Keeves here, and then from there we'll see what we'll do. So we're back.
Glad to have you back, bud.
Glad to be back.
Glad you're feeling better.
I'm
better.
90%. Well, except today I had coffee, and it's kind of ruined the solid poop I started to have again. See you next time. Showing me everything's happening. I don't need to know the moving parts, lady. I just need to know. Be ready, because this is gonna be uncomfortable. That's all I need to know.
Right.
So she sticks it up there, and my mom's in the room with me, which is embarrassing.
No, that's great.
But then I start giggling because I don't know what else to do. And the only way to keep my sanity in this moment is I say, "Man, I may have to feel this, but you're the one that has to look up there right now." And then when
doctors love that.
When she pulls the cone out, I apologize because I thought I pooped on her.